And we're singing Goodbye Horses. I'm flying over you.
Welcome and hello, Spuds, Mongoloids, beloved bulbers.
You guys.
Bulbous.
Another episode of By the Bulb Podcast, episode 13, everybody.
Ooh, yeah.
I am Brian Studley, and to my right is the dashing Jeremy Backler. How you doing, Jerry?
Very dashing. I just went to the Haberdasher,
Oh,
and he told me that
lies.
all the hats looked dashing. And then I dashed them on the pavement. And that was my day. What'd you do?
Haberdashery. Don't worry about what I do. Why don't you mind your goddamn business? Right.
Ask me stuff.
And across from him is the ever beautiful, ever graceful Tony Gomez. What's going on, Tony?
Thank you. I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Here we are. It's actually late in the evening. I had to adjust some stuff. Sitting here, November 10th, 2015, year of our Lord.
And Savior. We're in a new venue.
Yeah.
Mac Daddy Bry's in a new pad.
Oh, yeah.
The pimpest
The
pad.
pimpest.
The honeycomb hideout.
No, come on. It's pretty neat. We're on an island.
Yep.
Figuratively and literally.
Just floating in the abyss. Man's an island, Jerry.
But yeah, we have new studio.
It's a studio.
Yeah.
And we're gonna kick it up a notch. No, we're probably
we're gonna keep you guys tell us. Say when it comes to the notch, you know?
Yeah. Leave a little time code, at approximately 4:02.
That's too much.
Yeah.
Too much notch.
That was not enough notch, and then at 3:05, too much notch.
So we're gonna actually, as we got another email, guys.
We got an email.
Got an email.
Somebody was like, woo!
I think it's a good idea to just get these out of the way, get the fan service.
And by get them out of the way, we mean enjoy them.
Enjoy them.
Yes, exactly right. It's like I was an only child of divorced parents, and more often than not, I was opening Christmas presents on Christmas Eve. Yeah. Not gonna lie to you,
Yeah.
they loved me. What can I say? Anyway, so we've got an email from Brittany D.
Definitely.
You gonna say her name? She's all right with that? Brittany Devilly. It's out there.
It's out there.
You have a nice last name there, if that is your real name.
Mm-hmm.
Devilish.
Yeah.
Anyway, she says, Dear By the Bulb guys, I hear you guys talk about Attack on Titan movie a few podcasts back. Have you seen it yet?
No.
Did it live up to the hype?
I'm sorry, Brittany, but no.
No,
I
yeah.
didn't watch it yet.
Had I known that this was going to, because I had it's all over the internet right now.
Yeah,
You can watch it for free.
See, I didn't know that, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you don't tumble, do you?
Yeah.
I don't.
You don't tumble.
I'll tumble for you, but
You
I don't.
I'll give you a tumble.
But yeah, I mean, on Tumblr is just all, they're like, Attack on Titan.
Yeah. You scroll down your little feed thing, and then at least every fifth post is going to be, watch Attack on Titan.
It's totally
online
there.
for free.
It's totally there.
It's probably horrible then.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it works in other countries in terms of how good they are at stopping piracy, and
Doesn't seem like
doesn't
it's
seem
working
very
out.
good. Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure it's easier from country to country, though. Like, if you get a
Yeah.
movie over there, there's going to be less restriction on that specific product. It's
Yeah.
not where it was made,
Yeah, I had a buddy. Well, he still lives in China, but when he would just go out there and visit, he'd always come back with stacks of movies.
Yeah.
I remember he got Spider-Man 3, which, but at the time it was like, oh my god, this isn't even out yet or whatever. But yeah, the lovely Brittany, to answer your question, no, we haven't.
We didn't watch
talked
it.
about it, and Tony
do that
did
next
not
time, though.
sell us.
We will.
On Attack on Titan.
We'll.
No, we watched the trailer, right?
Yeah,
Is that
we
what
watched
we
the
did?
trailer.
Yeah.
We talked about it. It was trailer trash.
You guys were talking about the cartoon, which sounded cool.
Yeah, the cartoon
cartoon
was
was
pretty
really
cool, but I'm just not. I'll watch it, But I'm just not a big when they adapt live action versions of when they do the live action versions of anime. It's it's an animated thing, and people's bodies don't move like that in real life, and you can do so much more crazy shit in it.
Sure, it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, and it's
Well, can you give me an example of it working ever?
Well, I mean, we talked about this last time when we said this. We were talking about Attack on Titan for the first when we mentioned it the other time, and it did work. At least I didn't see the whole thing, but I saw enough of it just to say, yeah, it works with
Death Note. Yeah, you were saying
with Death Note, it really worked. Yeah, like they did a really good job of adapting the way the characters, like staying true to the way the characters look in the anime.
Yeah,
they look fucking crazy.
Yeah,
they're like these giant death god things, and they looked really cool.
I actually remember when I first saw some of the like screenshots from that movie coming out. I thought it was like people cosplaying.
Yeah, that's how good it looked.
That good.
Really?
Yeah.
It looked very realistic.
So yeah, I guess time will tell if it's free online. Like,
yeah, we definitely got to check it out now, especially because we got the email.
Oh, that email! And she's got another question.
Burning question.
Thoughts on Disney saying no more to Slave Leia products?
I mean,
what stance are you gonna take?
Okay, so
yeah.
We grew up with Star Wars, and I don't want. It's hard. It's hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be one of those things where the next generation doesn't give a shit. We're the only ones that really care, and it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Well, isn't she essentially just in a bikini, man?
Yeah, it's a gold bikini. Well, if you look at the bikini, it's not a solid gold bikini. There's like ironwork and stuff.
Right.
So, it's...
Is it the whole like enslavement thing?
I think that's part of
Yeah,
it. I think that's the most of it, probably.
Right? Yeah, it's like around her neck.
This is like a Spinal Tap joke. I'm pretty sure.
Smell the glove.
Exactly. if it were Jabba was the slave, then it wouldn't be a problem.
Like, oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I think. I don't know. You already like. It's weird because like you can buy other than the orange tip, that's a blaster rifle. That's for killing people.
Right.
And
Well, I feel like there's worse stuff out there, and even that Disney has created. I mean, if you want to make the Little Mermaid an example, fine. But the first thing that came to mind was the princess from Aladdin.
Oh yeah, dude. Dude, Pocahontas is the skimpiest dressed princess in all of, and it's like, her skirt is like so short, and she's like,
is it?
She's
Savages.
like always.
Savages. That's a part of the song. That's not me calling people
Yeah.
savages. Part of the
And like
Tony's
Jasmine,
gonna sing Half Breed next, everybody.
Tony, wait.
wait. Let me just stop you.
But but at least Jasmine had she's not wearing full on sleeves, but there's something there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Jasmine. I think it was more of like her bust
Right.
as a
Why'd they
child.
give her,
Maybe
why'd they give her the giant boobs? Because
why not?
Why not?
You know,
Because
she was only like 15 in that too.
yeah,
Think
all
about
of them
that.
have really cool pictures.
Yeah.
Like canon ages of those chicks.
Yeah.
But I gotta, obviously there's two different ways to go about it. It's slave Leia. That doesn't teach anything great. But as a kid who grew up and probably got one of his first childhood boners from Leia in the gold bikini.
Really? Okay.
It'd be hard for me to be like, just let it go.
Just
like,
ignore
it's
that,
gone.
right.
But how much is it really going to affect me? There's plenty of stuff out there already.
Right.
It's just, it seems like a weird thing to have to take a stance on now. Because even though it was Slave Leia, I mean, she's the one that freaking takes down Jabba.
Well,
yeah, I know, right? I feel like if it wasn't called Slave Leia,
It wouldn't be an issue.
Because it's like, she gets enslaved, but then she's the reason, like, she takes down the fucking barge, and,
Well, can you just change a word? Can it be captured Leia?
Captured Leia?
And everything would be okay?
Would that appease people who want to see it?
And I wonder if,
circulation.
I wonder if it was something that Disney just decided to do, or they got some concerned...
Well, okay, so
feedback.
We talked a couple weeks ago or a couple episodes ago about how they're going to re-release like the actual Star Wars as it was, and obviously she's going to be in there. But does anybody, I certainly don't own any Slave Leia products.
I don't. like, yeah, Disney's not going to make the bikini costume for you to wear.
Yeah.
But
Right.
like, I think it's mostly probably no more Slave Leia action figures.
Are there them? I mean,
There are
I'm
them.
sure there are,
There's
but like,
plenty.
I don't
There's
walk
a
into a
bunch.
Target and see Leia.
Well, you don't see. I mean, you don't go to Target. To get
I mean, basically,
if
if you're looking at it that way, it's like it's just a way to say, "Hey, we're getting rid of this. See what Disney's doing in order to make things more family friendly." You know, it's it's not going to affect the franchise at all.
It's not.
basically.
Everybody's gonna remember, and especially if they're re-releasing the unaltered versions, unless they alter them.
Now,
to,
if they
like, give
alter
Leia
them, yeah.
a gown or something.
Christ.
And they just digitally like take out the chain, and
Oh my
somehow
God.
she's like choking him with like some
Wants
piano
to
wire that she
rotoscope.
finds.
Because that's like the first 15 or 20 minutes of the movie. So that's
Yeah.
like 20 minutes of rotoscoping that someone had.
Yeah. That'd be awful. That'd be terrible. And you know, Carrie Fisher, she worked hard to get that slave
She
Leia
did.
look.
She did.
She actually was.
put in
She
the
was.
hours.
She was actually really in the original A New Hope. She was very self-conscious because like George Lucas and other people told her that she was too chubby.
No, other peepers.
I mean,
Yeah.
and there's people, but like,
No, I've heard that before.
and, like,
But that's she had.
she actually, I think she went to a fat camp.
Really?
I might email us if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But
They did talk about it in the documentary
Empire of Dreams.
Empire of Dreams. They talked about it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever. You know, as long as we have the movie. I mean, what's the difference?
Yeah, what's the
Like,
right?
yeah.
End of the day,
Yeah.
goodbye, boobs. I'm not seeing it.
Either way, but yeah, thank you. Email of
Yeah.
the week, Brittany Devily.
Thank you.
DeVilly?
And if we do,
Why don't you
decide
spell it
not to-
phonetically
Why
in the
don't
next
you-
email?
Did you figure it
So
out?
I'm just butchering your name here.
Thanks, Britt.
So, guys, we got some news moving along here. Very exciting. Joel Hodgson.
Yeah, don't worry, I don't know how to pronounce this. I always say like Hogsden? Hodgson?
Hogsden.
I think it's Hodgson.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead.
anyway, if anyone's a giant fan of Mystery Science Theater, as I am, then you may have heard about this, but on Kickstarter, Joel Hodgson launched a new Kickstarter campaign, and he wants to basically keep doing Mystery Science Theater, get it going again. And I'm looking at the page right now. They have 30 days to go. Their goal is 2 million, but they're already at almost 865 grand.
Yeah, it's just ticking.
So
every minute.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it, and people keep donating. So, and they have 30 days left. And you guys, there's going to be more Mystery Science Theater if this
Pretty much, yeah. But that's the thing. Like, okay, I was thinking about it because the goal's 2 million, right? For 3 episodes, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
So all these movies that they were watching before, I'm not sure how much they had to pay for them.
They did
if
not.
They did.
The
right.
They specifically picked public domain movies so that they wouldn't have to pay.
Okay, so would you assume that part of this budget is paying for the rights to watch movies that are not in public domain? Because let's be honest, guys.
I mean,
That movie did not, or the show.
Yeah, no, the show
does not require a lot.
The show did not require that. But I wonder if he has like, I think it would because like there's already riff tracks, which is, if you guys know about the history of the show at all, Joel Hodgson started it, and he was the host of it in the beginning, but then later he, for personal reasons, left the show. And Mike, one of the writers, and he sort of did some bit parts on the show, came in to host, and. Then after that got canceled, Mike, I don't remember the names, but the guy who does the voice of Tom Servo and the guy who does the voice of Crow started Riff Tracks, where that's basically what they don't, it's not a TV show, so they don't pay for the rights to show the movie. What they do is they did a Riff Tracks of Twilight, and you buy the Riff Tracks, and you watch it, you listen to it while you're watching Twilight, so that's how they get around.
All right, if you're.
So you have to have a copy of Twilight. You have to have a copy of whatever movie they're riffing.
Okay.
In order to fully experience the riff tracks.
So
you buy the audio that they do, and then by legal or illegal means get the movie and.
Okay, but wait. You're telling me you can't watch or you can't listen to the riff tracks without the movie?
You can listen to the riff tracks without the movie, yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
but it's just silly
it's
because
not the
okay.
focus,
But
But yeah,
I wonder what they're aiming for as far as movies.
I think if they did what Rift Tracks is doing, not that nothing bad against Rift Tracks, but I think it would take away from the original Mystery Science Theater, because Rift Tracks is basically like, you always like, this movie's really bad. Why didn't Mystery Science Theater do that? Well, Rift Tracks did it, so
yeah.
watch that. But like, the part of this watching the original Mystery Science Theater was just these ridiculous, like Hercules versus the Moon Man. Like, what? You gotta do shit like that,
Yeah.
And I'm just really excited. Joel is, I think he's funny. I don't know if anybody's a fan of Freaks and Geeks. He's on a few episodes of Freaks and Geeks.
Oh, is that right?
He's the man that sells him the leisure suit. It's a jumpsuit, and he's also the DJ at the disco at the bowling alley.
Nice.
But yeah, Mystery Science Theater coming soon. Stoked.
It's exciting, and I feel like a lot of, and we've even talked about like doing something that was like in this in the vein of that.
We want to do something like that, but because those guys, that's really neat. I don't know, man. They just like did it.
Yeah.
And then for a while, I don't think they're still on there, but they had a bunch of them on Netflix, and
they did. There is a few. You know what? There might not be. Netflix had like a couple of them, but YouTube has almost all of them.
Huh.
So just YouTube Mystery Science Theater 3000, and there will be a plethora of options for you to choose from, and that's how I pretty much watched all of them.
That's cool.
Just up there.
Yeah, because that was a Mystery Science Theater, for me, at least my experience when I was younger, is like you'd have like Saturday morning cartoons and stuff, and then you'd go out and play, and then you'd come back in like early afternoon, and it would just be on like Comedy Central on a Saturday, and that's what I'd watch. And I didn't as a kid, I didn't.
I definitely. I watched a few episodes when I was a kid, but I didn't really.
Why are they talking?
Yeah, right? I don't really. This movie. So you watch a bad movie anyway. So like, what's the deal?
Like, shut up! Stop talking. Right. But yeah, that's. I'm really looking forward to that because they're going to pull it off easily.
Yeah.
You said 30 days left. Yeah. There was like a stretch goal, I think, too. Like if they get like 5,000 or I forget how much it was for like an entire season.
Yeah.
But they wanted it wasn't that far off from that. But good for them. It looks like it's going to happen.
Definitely, I'm sure.
Sticking in TV news, we don't usually talk about like what's releasing on like Blu-ray or DVD and stuff like that, but I have to mention one of my favorite animated shows ever, Justice League Unlimited.
So good.
That's Unlimited, not just regular Justice League.
Get it right.
The whole like Bruce Timm production, animation, stuff like that. I was never much of a DC guy, but that show really got me into the whole DC mythology. Obviously outside of like Batman and crap like that, like John Jones, the Martian Manhunter. I didn't really know shit about him until I started watching Justice League Unlimited and all the other characters, because it's literally like every episode has a completely. You're introduced to somebody new. It seems like.
And they do a great job just making them, super that much more that interesting to where you want to watch the episode still. It's like maybe it doesn't have all the big ones in there.
Yeah.
They got like a little part where like Martian Manhunter just comes and he helps out these other guys that are doing this thing. And you're just like, oh, this is, this whole thing is great.
Yeah.
This whole thing is good time.
But I think like the first one that I saw, and I think the one that sold it for me was the Booster Gold episode.
Oh, the Booster Gold episode was pretty
It's just great. And you've got, and I'm an asshole because I can't think of the guy's name, but he's doing the voice of Booster Gold's like little robot helper guy.
Yeah.
And he's the voice of like Yakko from Animaniacs and fucking millions of other things.
Yeah, no, he's like in everything.
I can't think of his name.
that episode, I think there was multiple Booster Gold episodes, but the one that I remember in particular is where they're fighting that huge crazy battle where it's all the main ones of the Justice League, and then Booster Gold's like trying to get in on the action, but they're like, we don't need you. You go do crowd control, and it's kind of like that episode of Buffy with Xander.
Where he's just
he's just doing stuff outside of this huge battle going on. They're like, Xander, you're gonna get hurt. Get out of here.
And they're like, the world almost ended tonight.
Yeah, what's that episode? Do you remember what it's called?
Oh shit, I can't remember.
It has a really specific name, but it had like that same sort of feel where Booster Gold just sort of running around the city, and he's trying to make a name for himself because his whole backstory is he came back from the future with all this technology so he could be a superhero, and then he like wasn't shit still.
Right. Yeah, but he ends up like uncovering this whole other thing because there's like a doctor whose like chest is sucking in everything.
Exactly.
Billy West is the name of the guy. He's the voice of Fry.
He's freaking everything.
Yeah.
Dude.
What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna. I had the voice of Booster Gold, not the voices of Robot.
Yeah.
Tom Everett Scott is Booster Gold.
And then that was also one of a Stretch Man. What is it? Stretchy Rubber. What's his name? The funny guy that stretches.
Oh,
The guy in the red suit.
Oh, the guy who brings candy to kids.
Elastic Man.
Plastic Man. It's Plastic.
Is
Man.
it Plastic Man?
Plastic Man. Yeah.
Well, because it's the voice of Ari from Ari Gold. It's funny.
Oh, Jeremy Piven.
Jeremy Piven. He's like squeaky wheel.
And it's like we already got one stretchy guy. We don't need the other.
Yeah. But that's just one episode. But it's coming out on Blu-ray. Like I had the DVDs and stuff like that. Like that's great, but there's something about animation like. It just looks really crisp on a Blu-ray, and it's nice. But another another great episode is Hawk and Dove. They get Fred Savage and his brother from the Wonder Years.
From Boy Meets World and
Fred Savage?
yeah.
No, it was
Fred Savage is Wonder Years, and then his brother Ben Savage.
Yeah.
No, it was it's Fred Savage and the kid that played his brother in the Wonder Years.
Really? That guy. I forget that guy's name. I always forget.
He was what makes the fat kid fat.
Yeah.
That guy. But just if anybody's ever seen it, a comic book, fan or whatever, I don't know if people really have allegiances anymore. Like I remember back in the day, it was like, oh well, I'm a Marvel guy. Well, I'm a But god damn it, that's just one of the best shows. Anyway,
that's back when the golden age of DC animated cartoons. Like they were just killing it for a while. They had a specific style. It was that one you're talking about, and it was Justice League and then Unlimited, and I think Unlimited was like what they originally wanted Justice League to be. They didn't want it just to be like the main superheroes, but the studio's like, no, you keep it with the main guys. Obviously, you don't need it. And then with Unlimited, they were able to make it work by opening the universe. So. It was really good. I enjoyed every bit of that.
It's a brief run too, right? Yeah, it is on all on
Netflix.
Netflix.
Through
You're
all
right.
of it. I think not too long ago, I went through all the Justice League and then straight into Unlimited and watched it to the end.
Yeah,
and it was just solid.
If you're a fan of animation, and I love it.
Nice.
So TV news, I guess, but I got to mention that there's a show coming out. Bill Burr. Who is honestly, from me to you and whoever's listening, like one of the reasons I got the balls to actually even get into podcasting. Because that guy his podcast, if you don't listen, folks, it's rude, it's crude, it's everything it should be. The guy just does a show on his own twice a week for an hour. And just riffs and has conversations with himself.
The Monday Morning Podcast.
Yeah. And just checking it out. He's wonderful. Bill Burr has got an animation show coming to Netflix called F is for Family. It's coming out like mid to late December, I think. Maybe even early December. But they've just been showing up like little trailers for that. There's no dialogue or anything. You just see the animation and they put like a song in there real quick. But I just got as much as we love animation, Bob's Burgers, stuff like that. And it's another like nuclear family sort of thing. I can't wait to see what this guy's bringing to the table.
I mean, the only cast members other than Bill Burr are Haley Reinhart, Laura Dern, and Justin Long.
Laura Dern, really?
Justin Long, Laura Dern. Yeah, but Laura Dern's in there.
It's I've at least based on what he's saying on his podcast is that it's going to be rated R. So. And the guy can't go, a sentence or two without saying cunt or fuck or whatever. Looking forward to that. Shifting to more, non-animated stuff.
This is real life.
AMC. Actually, we'll just this little AMC block of news for you. Fans of Walking Dead, not just the show, but the graphic novel.
Sorry.
We're just going to go ahead and say... Brian, myself, I haven't read the graphic novels. Jeremy
has read the first 2 trade paperbacks.
So no.
I read pretty far. I stopped a little while ago, but I got all the way to... basically, they've had these 2 like giant compendiums, and then I've read the first 2. So I quite a lot. I've read them, and I really dug them.
Now, do they still? Publish that? Is this
just still going? It's ongoing.
Okay. Well, they just announced, I don't know anything about this character because I haven't read the graphic novels, but they announced casting of Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who was the comedian in Watchmen. I don't know him from anything else.
Yeah.
Other than that, he was great in that.
He was in Weeds, wasn't he?
He was in I'm pretty sure he played their dad on Supernatural.
Did he?
Yeah, they like put older makeup on him because he doesn't look old enough to be their dad. And Supernatural is a bad show, everyone. I don't want you to watch that show.
There are fans of Supernatural.
There are loud fans,
there's-
and if anyone that listens to this show
Really like
hears you say
Supernatural,
that,
then I lost some fans. But
We lost-
Supernatural is
Brittany Devilface might be a huge fan, and she's going to kill you.
Pretty devil face.
She's gonna. But I feel I only say that because I think like the following for Supernatural is mostly ladies.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this character Negan, he's playing Tony. Give us some insight.
Okay, so if you've read a bunch of the comics, as far as bad guys in the graphic novels, this is the one you want to see. This is the one that you wanted to see since the show started, and this is something to be excited about for the show because they've been putting it off. They've made references here and there to the comics, and everyone knows, but they've like strayed quite a bit from what happens in the novels to what happens in the show. I don't want to give too much away, but this character, if it's done right, will reignite my interest in the show, which is
Now, wasn't this character
been a good
supposed
season.
to do...
really? Because I haven't watched it, man. I haven't kept up with it. Like it's just I just had a hard time just like sticking with it this season. But I've only watched the first episode, so I just gotta get back to it. I haven't had time. You know?
Yeah, it's they picked up the pace. I mean, there's something happening every episode.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm gonna try and get back into it, but definitely now that I've seen this, I'm gonna be a little more spurred on to
to keep
see what happens. Yeah.
I don't know how long you're gonna have to wait because I mean, the news is just that he's been cast. So
But he's such a great part of the comics that I watched 2 shitty seasons to get to his. So as long as it's done right. I heard that there's rumors of them changing his name. It won't be Negan, but it will be essentially Negan. So let's see what they do with that.
Cregan
Was now I don't.
Schlegan.
My brother is a my brother was is a pretty big fan of The Walking Dead, and now I don't. Without giving too much away, let me see how I can say this. Wasn't Negan supposed to do something to one of the characters that may have already happened to that character?
Yes.
Okay.
And when I heard that may have happened to this character, I thought, well, is Negan around? What happened there? You know what? He wasn't, and it happened differently. But I mean, I haven't been keeping up with the show. I keep seeing things here and there, like, oh, it might be this, it might be that. Obviously we can't go into too much detail.
I don't want to.
But that was a huge part of the comics. And it blew you the fuck away when you saw it.
Yeah.
When you see, and it was a baseball bat. Yeah. Holy shit.
That's because the only picture I'm seeing is this guy carrying a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Lucille. It's a baseball bat with
Lucille.
barbed wire.
Lucille,
Yeah, that's great. So good. All right. So the fact that you say that you'd watched 2 shitty seasons, which means a lot, of Walking Dead.
And this guy, he's got a perfect look for it. Like if you saw one of these things where fans do their fan casting, they put this guy, they put the comedian in there as Negan because that's just great. That's solid fucking casting.
That's fan casting.
I'm super excited, guys. Oh my god, super cool.
So it is no secret that AMC is just fucking killing it with zombies. I mean, are we in the 6th season of that already? Okay. And then they got the one that debuted over the summer that takes place in LA.
Which I could
Fear the Walking Dead.
I watched a couple episodes and I was just like,
well, now they're going to give you some more zombies.
More zombies.
The godfather of all that is zombie, George Romero, apparently wrote a comic for Marvel called
It's an Empire of the Dead.
Empire of the Dead. Thank you, Jeremy. Jesus. Empire of the Dead, and they're picking it up. They're just, I don't know. I didn't know that he wrote. I haven't been in a comic. Well, I go to a comic book shop honestly probably 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah.
And the ones and God bless the guys at the comic book stores, but I know they got a job to do. I'm just like, man, I haven't been in one of these. Let me just look around for leave me the fuck alone.
Stop looking.
I don't know what I want.
Well, it's because nobody's buying anything, so that you can someone's here.
a person.
A blessing from the Lord. What do you guys think about it? Zombie Overload's been happening for quite some time.
Yeah.
But AMC in particular buying into a whole other franchise of zombies.
Now,
I just
so
don't
what
get the move, honestly.
Yeah.
Now I haven't read anything of Empire of the Dead but from what it seems to me is it's a totally different world from The Walking Dead. It seems like sort of more Land of the Dead or like the end of Shaun of the Dead, where like the zombies are integrated into society now.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
So it seems like it's a different.
Yeah, Ramiro liked doing that
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
He liked on Day of the Dead. You had
He's like.
Yeah,
He's
gives a
gun.
salute. Yeah, and then Land of the Dead. If you ever stomached that one,
Yeah, John Leguizamo was.
it was terrible. But yeah, that guy had a functioning zombie too. So yeah, different.
Yeah, I mean, you want to say they're just cashing in on something, but it's George Romero doing what George Romero does, so I'm excited. I mean, he's great. I mean, even his stuff that's not about zombies. Anybody go watch Creepshow. That's a great movie.
But I mean, it's just, I get making it a show. I don't get AMC making it a show.
No, I don't. That is a little. It seems to me like that would be a play that another network would do because of
this
AMC.
is our zombie
but
show.
like now AMC is just like has a monopoly on zombie shows.
Here's a thought I just had. They saw this coming through the pipeline. It was catching some steam. They got the dough. They bought it up. Maybe they don't have any intention of putting it into production.
Maybe they just bought it so that nobody would compete with.
Yeah, just shelve it.
Yeah,
just shelve it.
That'd be sad, man.
Ramiro still gets paid though, right?
Yeah,
It does.
Not as much, but he's still gets paid. So yeah, that wraps it up for TV news. We have, once again, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about this Fallout 4 game that's coming out.
you guys.
I know you guys have some very, very strong feelings about it.
Tony, do you have a copy?
Video games, everybody. Buy the ball video games.
I just got the copy today.
So I'm a plebeian, and I only have a shitty laptop and an Xbox 360, so I can't play Fallout 4. Everything. My body is just screaming to do it. It's like the part in SpongeBob when he's like, I don't need it. I do need it.
Did you get to play it all, Tony?
Yes, I got the game today. As soon as I possibly could, I threw it in the PS4. I had to drive an hour and a half because I was in Bakersfield over the weekend.
Just like driving 80, like, I gotta fly!
You put the seatbelt on your...
I couldn't wait to go home.
All the time.
I couldn't wait to go home and do it, so I actually put it in my brother's PS4
For sure.
in Bakersfield and just played through the entire intro only so I could play it again a couple hours later on my own. But I didn't get very far, but I got far enough and enough of a feel for it to where I'm like, yes, this was an excellent decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, just the fact that you can now start a fucking settlement.
I mean, that's it. That sold it for me. There was enough stuff about the the way the world looks, and then other things you can do, the sculpting features, that's cool, but I mean, how much time you're really going to spend on that? But the fact that you can rebuild and just make your own fucking city out of nowhere, just go pick a spot.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to put a city there? Do it.
I've seen videos online for how to build like a 2-story building or whatever. I'm just like, what the fuck? Because I gotta tell the audience, like, I have respect for this game or the Fallout franchise. Bethesda, those guys are really smart. It's so in depth. But I just suck at it. I suck at it.
I've played them all, and actually the first two were Black Isle. Not Bethesda did the third one. That's when they got into the game.
So that's when it was good.
Well, they're different. I mean, Fallout 3 is obviously most of you have played it, so it's more like the Elder Scrolls games,
right?
But Fallout 1 and 2 are more. It's like Final Fantasy Tactics or whatever. You have a board and there's hexes and you just click to move like you would in Diablo.
I'm yawning already.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a really hard game. It's basically like if you don't know how to make a good character, then you die in the first mission. It's one of those games.
Well, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I ran out of bullets in some subway somewhere, and it's like, why? I got 8 hours later.
On 3.
Fuck.
But you were on 3.
Yeah, but so with 4, and when I looked this up, prior to the podcast, you do your little cram homework there, and people are like, well, are the shitty graphics going to be a huge backlash for Fallout 4? And it's like,
Dude, I don't give a shit.
If the game's right, if the game's good, and are people not obsessed with like
Dude,
fucking Minecraft and shit?
it's
Like,
not
get over
even-
yourself.
dude. That shit it carries over into everything. Like the type of people that are like, yeah, dude, enjoy things on Blu-ray, but the people who are like, I can only watch things in like this aspect ratio and it has to be HD. And like, blah, blah, blah. Well, that movie wasn't made in HD, so does it really matter? Yeah. Watch it on Blu-ray.
How's that grain treatment?
Yeah.
Well, that's Tony. I mean, people are saying like they're shutting down their lives.
Yeah.
Like, don't talk to me for a week. You know, one of those.
Yeah.
Fucking,
I mean, I've joked around and said things like that, but I'm just going to be honest here.
yeah.
I'm not the long-term fan that Backlar is. Yeah. He can't play it. I played 3, and I played New Vegas, and so I'm a bandwagoner. I came in at the end of the game, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna get that
Here's the
fucking
deal.
4.
Yeah.
You're a bandwagoner. I would call myself a hipster because I bandwagoned and then I went back and played the old game.
Oh, see,
So-
Okay, all right.
I thought that you were playing the Elder
Makes
Scrolls.
me feel a little
Yeah,
better.
no,
you know,
no.
it makes me feel a little better.
Before that, you played Fallout 3. Had you done all the Elder Scrolls and Morrowinds?
Yeah,
and
I put. Well, I mean, I didn't. Elder Scrolls Arena, too old for me. Same thing with Daggerfall, but Morrowind, I was in middle school when that came out, and then Elder Scrolls, I was in high school and Sky. So I've played Morrowind through Skyrim, and yet, dude, just all those games, dude.
Which again, I bandwagoned. I
Yeah.
was like, fuck those other games. I'm just gonna play Skyrim because it looks
Yeah,
good.
and I was like, Tony, you should probably play it. Because actually, in my opinion, Oblivion is a better game than Skyrim.
Yeah.
But,
like I said, I appreciate the stuff, and it's cool to see people geek out about it, and I know that it is potentially really cool, but I'm just terrible at it. So you guys enjoy Happy Fallout 4 Day.
No, I won't be dedicating weeks of my life, especially because of the way our current schedules are working out.
dude.
Right now.
Yeah.
All of us are
Jesus.
insanely busy.
We're in our
Yeah.
senior year. I mean, I don't know. I can only speak for me, but I got up at 8 this morning, and I didn't stop doing stuff until Tony picked me up to do this podcast.
I just keep getting up early too. It's like I can't sleep in. I have to force myself to sleep in because I've gotten up at a sensible time to have to go do things all day.
You don't even have an animal to wake you up either.
Yeah.
right? Like,
No,
you
I'm
just
just
do that on
getting
your
up.
own.
You got a Tristan. Tristan, you sculpting.
Tristan isn't doing. That kid's friggin' asleep till 3 in the afternoon. You got shit to do. But yeah, just way too busy to be dedicating that amount of time to it. But I'm gonna put as much time in as I possibly can because it's pretty good.
Well, what are holiday breaks for other than just like playing that video game you
Except
got?
we're gonna be editing a short film throughout the entire time.
Yes, on December 6th, I will smoke a lot of weed.
And laugh at us.
Me and Brian are just gonna be like, all right, so I guess we gotta start now. Huh?
We've already been starting. Like,
Yeah.
is it, I'm not ashamed to tell you that like I'm spent already. Like I'm going on sabbatical. Other game related news. They are The Witcher. Have you guys ever played
I
that?
have not.
Just aware of it.
I'm
That's
aware of it.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, no, I've heard.
They're making a movie out of it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a okay. So people correct me if I'm wrong, but as I understand it, The Witcher 1 was actually a Polish video game. It was a Polish studio that made it, which is random.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys, they play video games too. No, but I don't know. It's
like us.
it seemed like a cool game, but it also seemed like one of those games like God of War or what?
It's just a hack and slash. Man.
It's not that it's like here's the scene where you fuck the winch. You know,
Well,
like
that's
you know,
right. When it first started coming out, like I remember for like PC and stuff, my GameStop days, one of the guys I worked with was just like, "Oh man, you can totally have sex with this chick." I'm like,
it's like what's the
again?
but it's the same chick.
Yeah.
No, but it's I don't know, man. Yeah, video.
Well, I mean, if they're telling me that, then I'm expecting to see boobies in the
Right.
Witcher movie.
Yeah.
Other video game news, we had been talking about Mass Effect a couple episodes ago, and I guess that they announced on like N7 Day or some shit that they've got another Mass Effect coming out called Andromeda. Tony's the PS4 or next current gen, I guess, guy. So I guess he'll be playing that first.
Well, the thing is with the Mass Effect, it's a series that I did like and I did get along with it, like Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 3, didn't finish it, but I did hear quite a lot about the fact that I didn't miss out on much. We had that whole spurt about talking, you have to buy this extra downloadable content to get the true ending,
right?
And I was just kind of turned off by that. So I don't know if I will. I'll have to see some pretty impressive stuff for me to get back into it.
And also, the game, I don't know, maybe this was just the impression that I got, and not anything the developer said, but I just always assumed that it was just going to be a trilogy. It was going to be Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist anymore.
No, right. Halo 5.
Doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen. No, and it's like, dude, EA is just ruining everything we love. I think that's exactly what's happening.
Right, because it was BioWare.
Yeah,
right?
it was BioWare.
Oh, wait a minute.
Well, no, BioWare. Okay, so EA bought out BioWare.
Right.
And the first Mass Effect was an EA BioWare game, but it wasn't. It was great. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. And then the second one, you had more of that downloadable content stuff that it wasn't bad, but there was some more of that hey, buy this mission pack.
Yeah, but it was still solid.
It was still sweet. But then Mass Effect 2 was no, if you want to finish the game, you should probably give us some extra money, and that is uncool.
We say again, EA, not cool.
Yeah.
Well, guys, speaking of things that are stinky and uncool, must be time for trailer trash. Because they all stink and are, God. I mean, what's the last did you ever tell your buddy? Yeah, I was hanging out with this guy's trailer.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's great.
So we watched some trailers this week, and I guess it segues nicely because we were just talking about video games. Let's lead it off. Talk about this Warcraft trailer. Jeremy, you seem to be the pro.
Okay, so
the guy in the know.
Have been when Warcraft 1 came out, my dad bought it. I've been playing Warcraft games this whole time. I played WoW a bunch when I was in middle school, but it never really grabbed me like other people. I never got a max level character or anything. I just fucked around, but and so I do know a lot about the Warcraft lore and the story behind it, and
Okay, so there's men and then there's the teeth faces.
They're the orcs.
Orcs?
The orcs come. There's a dimension, a separate dimension from Azeroth, which is where the humans are from.
Lich King.
Called called Outland.
Okay.
And or is it Outland? Yeah.
Is it
Outland.
sort of like a Thor mythology thing where there's
a little bit. I mean, it's not like in Thor. It's like another planet that's over there.
Okay.
And it's like another.
It's just another realm.
Completely different plane of existence.
Mm-hmm.
And like they were talking about in the trailer, the orcs do have to leave because Outland is basically crumbling and falling apart.
We must go to this other place.
But
where they don't have teeth like us.
And I don't know.
But the women have smaller teeth.
But I don't know. I mean, it looks like it's going to be. Honestly, I think it's going to be a pile of shit. But there's something about me that really wants to like it, and I know it's gonna. Like Tony said, how many shots of the fucking griffin did we get?
Yeah.
Just in that trailer.
6 or 7.
Need that epic mount, bro.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't know.
Not excited.
I'm on the fence.
Are you
I'm
just past it? Are you past it?
I thought I was past it in this trailer.
I see though.
Bringing up some old emotion.
For our listeners, they can't see, but Jeremy's definitely having a reaction to it. Just talking like he's doing a lot of flapping of his fists, a lot of gripping, a lot of erratic movement. He has this inner turmoil that you guys just aren't getting.
One-handed claps.
Yeah. Just kind of nerding out a little too hard.
In this kingdom of the nerd.
One thing I do want to say about it is if you watch this trailer, the one thing that I noticed right away was the orcs look really fucking good. and like the humans look ridiculous.
Yeah, right?
Like the human
What's up
costumes
with that?
look so
Why do they
shitty,
look
but
like
the orc design, that shit was on point.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's how they look in the games,
that's
and
how
that's the
orcs
way they
in
should
the
look in
game,
real
that's how
life.
I mean, like in Lord of the Rings, the orcs look awesome because it's fucking practical makeup.
Yeah.
And
These are total CGI.
it's
Well, this is
CGI,
still
total
Weta
CGI.
Workshop, I think.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
But when every scene with the humans, I thought it was a commercial for Clash of Clans.
Yeah,
You know?
like the crowns they had, and then just the shoulders. It's just like, okay, we got it with the orcs. Yeah, make it look like the game because they were able to pull it off. But I think they're trying to do the way the suits of armor for the humans.
I think they're trying to it looked like they were trying to do a more stylized version of the Hobbit.
It looks
Or I
like
was gonna say it's like a bootleg Thorns.
Yeah, right.
Just
hopping
it looks
around.
like a bunch of cosplay, you know.
Yeah.
That's what it came off as. It didn't look like a professional.
Yeah.
It just looks silly. The humans look ridiculous. It's kind of like in Thor when you see them in Asgard, like everybody looks really cool, but then when you see them outside of Asgard,
when they're in like New Mexico,
and they're just like walking around with their ridiculous outfits, like you don't belong here. But good job on the orcs, I gotta say. That's the one thing. That's one commentary I really have.
Also, a part of is like the orcs are painted as like the bad guys in the first couple games, but the third game, Reign of Chaos.
Yeah, potions are useless.
Potion master.
The third one,
Let alone a man.
my potions be gin and jack.
We need to put a link of that somewhere so people understand why that was so funny to us.
But the first two games were kind of just like, these are the orcs, they get these units, these are the humans, kill each other. But the third game had like a story, and like there was heroes, and it was like a whole thing, and it was really awesome. Like that third game is the reason why I fucking love Warcraft.
Yeah.
And also the expansion pack, Frozen Throne, with all the sweet custom games. I don't know if anybody played StarCraft, but
I played me some StarCraft.
Did you play Brood War, the expansion pack? Because that's basically what Reign of Chaos was like. Brood War for Warcraft. If you're so inclined.
If you were going to find a comparable title, then it would be this.
Made by the same company.
So we're getting all riled up, but nobody wants to see it. So
Definitely getting a reaction.
Yeah.
we'll talk to you in March when
Yeah.
it's no, it's coming out next summer. What am I talking about?
Oh, really?
We'll talk to you a year from now about
It's
it.
gonna block the bust, you know.
Well, maybe we should. We were talking about graphic novels earlier, and sort of talking
Also,
about George Romero.
talking about AMC.
AMC.
On that graphic novel grind.
Man, they want to sponsor us, AMC. The Preacher.
The Preacher.
Watched. From personal experience, I had a roommate when I was in my early 20s that was really into The Preacher and graphic novels, for that matter. And I poked around with like 3 or 4 of them, and they were just difficult to put down because they're really sort of beautiful.
The artwork is like, it's really sweet, but there's something dirty about it. Like you feel like you shouldn't be
filthy.
looking at it. Yeah.
Well, and
like,
characters like Arseface, or you know what I mean, like, but just really, really cool. And it doesn't look as stylized from this trailer. But still has this really dark tone, really like dark, funny tone.
Yeah.
You know, what'd you guys think of The Preacher?
I think. Well, I mean, you've read more of it than I have. It's always one of those comics that when I've gone into comic book stores, I always seem to pick that one up because it's so fucking sweet looking and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
I will say that the guy who they cast as the Preacher is a little too round in the face for me. The Preacher's more gaunt.
And if you ran a couple laps, he'd be.
Looking at some pictures here, I agree with that.
But other than that, fucking watch that, man. That looks sweet.
Yeah, it's AMC. I know because they usually, like with Walking Dead, right? Like they'll have like the first half of the season, they'll take a break for like Christmas.
Yeah.
Somebody will die or 2 people, and then they'll come back. I'm wondering if this is just a spring, like right after Walking Dead is over, like Preacher.
Maybe just get like a little short Preacher season, and then
That'd be good, you know.
I'm not super familiar with the comics like at all.
Yeah.
The trailer looked all right, but I'd want to see more before I decided to like check it out. You know? It was a nice little intro, but there's nothing about it that really pulled me. I think maybe you guys have felt that because you're a little more familiar with the comic, but it just it didn't come off as anything too special based on that. The dialogue was kind of like over the top, and maybe it goes with the comic, and that's why you give it a pass. But for me, I saw it and it looked okay. But I'd wait. I'm going to wait to reserve judgment until like some episodes come out and then people are talking about it.
The thing that I think sort of sold those comics for me was just sort of the characterization of a lot of like the villains and stuff that they had. Like you could see whoever the actor is in there that's playing the baddie, he's got like a solid Adolf Hitler haircut happening, and just some of his facial expressions are just.
That guy was in the Misfits, and he's just a very strange looking dude. He always plays a strange character, and I want to see where that was probably the most gripping part of it. It's like, oh, this guy's in there. Yeah, this fucker.
He's the best part about that little promo, though. You're right.
I'd check it
out.
out.
And that fucking little redhead asshole kid that was.
And that also kind of pulled me out of it.
Yeah,
he was the actor from the Wet Hot American Summer Netflix series, and he was so ridiculous. When I saw his face, I was like, "That's that fucking kid."
Yeah, and he's trying to be like not a dick in this, and I'm not buying it.
Yeah,
once you hurt my dad.
Well, that looks cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why we did this, but we watched the trailer for Alice through the looking glass, guys.
All right.
What the fuck?
All right. Somebody. I
Not
have to
even.
look something up.
You get the director's actual name on screen for 4 frames.
Yeah, right. Produced by
Tim Burton.
Then a lot of not credits.
Yeah.
Says, produced by Tim Burton. Look at all this crazy shit.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Everybody else.
Do you remember Sweeney Todd? Well, we got 3 of the same guys. It's gonna be great. Oh, it looks like shit. Moving along. On a happier note, I mean, this is just happening these days, but I really hope X-Files is good. That's
I'm pulling for it.
Promo there, yeah. Seems like they're good in character.
There's a lot of it that could be a desperate attempt and go nowhere, though.
Yeah.
It seems I was talking, but it seems like the house that Tumblr built.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened we talked about Tumblr a few times.
Tumblr's been like...
And Tumblr fucking is just obsessed with
They're not talking about Attack on Titan, they're talking about X-Files.
There was a little thing I saw that was like, after that comet thing happened,
Yeah.
I
thought it was a missile.
It's a missile, it's a comet, it's a UFO. It looked fucking insane, right?
Yeah.
But there's a still frame of it where it's just like this really long blue Boeing trail, and it has like Mulder's Twitter account, like, oh, what the fuck was that? With a picture of it, and then underneath that is a reply that's like it zooms into the end of like the trail that bows, and it's Goku shooting a Kamehameha.
Illuminati.
Stay woke.
Stay woke.
Well, it seemed like in the promo for X-Files, they're trying to, sort of tie in all the Big Brother surveillance stuff into whatever. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that... I would be surprised if they're going to go back and do some of those, like, darker episodes. Like the Creature of the Week sort of thing. The stretchy guy going through the,
what was
chimneys.
The weird hillbilly family that was
they got taken off the air. Yeah. What is it called? It's just one word. It's like live or breathe or death. But they're all like, family of hillbillies that's just been mating with each other. Yeah. And their bloodline is just so fucked up. They're just all these just fucking disfigured guys, and it's like they had to pull it. I think the worst thing about that episode is there's like this dead baby, like carcass. That they're fucking with, and like I don't know.
I just remember how the mom was just a torso, and she was on one of those like wheelie things that you use to change the oil in your car, and they like wheeled her out of the bed. And like, dude, such good boy.
Well, and the way that they did it is they did one of those things where like you can. You're gonna speed up your frames per second, and sometimes if somebody like turns around and makes like a spooky face. Like, if you just speed it up a little bit, like, it just has all the more impact. Yeah. And that is definitely an example of that. Like, that one episode aside, like, to be honest with you, they're, like, episode to episode arcs sort of lost me. I was more interested in
the
just
monster of the week.
monster of the week, man. Like, and I just, I don't know. Like, I hope that they can keep up with that. This promo didn't really show me.
Yeah, I mean,
that was the case.
I'm excited because I like X-Files, but the promo didn't get me excited.
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
and another element, I think, when we say it's like it was built by Tumblr, like Tumblr made this happen. It looks like a trailer that Tumblr would.
Yeah, right.
You know, there's nothing about it that's really there's nothing about it that just wants to pull you in. You're like, oh shit, that's what's going on. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. It's like, here's David Duchovny. There's Gillian Anderson. Skinner.
No, the biggest thing for me was like the cigarette at the end. Like, oh, okay, all right, this is the X-Files now. But side note, after being through all the shit that Scully has been through, why is she always like, I don't know, Mulder. You seem like a crazy person.
Because then the dynamic doesn't work,
It
Jeremy.
doesn't work, but like,
we need the dynamic to stay the same.
You guys made a movie. There was a video game.
Yeah.
The name of the episode I was thinking of is called Home.
Home.
It's it's season 4, episode 2. It is on Netflix. Can't hide it no more. The other one was Squeeze. I mean, there's like a great episode that's like an ode to The Thing, where there's this little like leech virus that infects them when they're in Antarctica. Anyway, I don't know. I'm like you said, like it's not the trailer didn't sell on me. It's just the idea of it at this point, and they got to deliver. I think.
It's fucking
excellent. All right, you fucking jabronis, we're taking a break. Fuck you.
I'm going easy at Discovery Zone. Discover what I can do on my own.
I can jump, swing, crawl, or mountain climb.
I'm going easy, one of a kind.
What are the Nicktoons so excited about? It's Discovery Zone, where you get a free Nickelodeon activity book featuring the stars of Doug, Rugrats, The Ren and Stimpy Show, and Rocko's Modern Life. And savings on Nickelodeon home videos from Sony Wonder, all in this free activity book only at Discovery Zone.
No little cinnamon gum freshens breath longer than Big Red.
So kiss a little longer, stay close a little longer, hold tight a little longer, longer with Big Red. That Big Red freshness lasts right through it. Your fresh breath goes on and on. While you chew it, say goodbye a little longer, make it last a little longer. Give your breath long-lasting freshness with Big Red.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Now we're gonna actually leap into a new little thing we're gonna do every episode, starting this episode. That'll maybe last for one episode.
We'll see.
It's the By the Bull box office update.
Boop, boop.
As many of you may know, the James Bond Spectre is the 24th James Bond movie. That came in at number 1, making $73 million statewide.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't surprise me. I'm still not gonna see it.
I've never seen a Bond movie in the theater.
I have.
I've seen Die Another Day. Another one of the Brosnan movies. I've seen a couple of the Brosnans.
Yeah, GoldenEye.
I saw Quantum of Solace in theaters. Now GoldenEye, I think that came out. I would have been too young to see GoldenEye in theaters.
With old Sean Bean there.
That game though.
Yeah, dude. Oh,
yeah, of course.
Anyway.
Coming in at number 2 was Peanuts with 45 million. Refreshing, right? Animated movie. What's Peanuts, guys?
Who's this guy? Yeah.
Well, I gotta tell you, looking at it, it looked pretty unfamiliar.
Well, like Tony was saying, it's the guy's son. Tony says stuff to me.
It's his son, the original creator's son, and his grandson.
So Charlie Schultz, is that? No, not
Charles Schultz.
Yeah.
Is it Charles Schultz?
It is.
Charles Schultz.
You got it. But I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. But there's been some Tolkien's son written a couple books, and Frank Herbert's son Brian Herbert added some books a lot of books to the Dune series, and could have done without him. So
whenever you have something like that where it's an author or creator and then the son or one of the descendants tries to pick it up, it never sounds good to me. It always sounds kind of like a pull for I'm gonna cash in.
Well, because they always like the first
yeah.
like with Brian Herbert, he wrote a seventh Dune book. Frank Herbert wrote 6. He wrote the 7th one, and he did use some of his dad's notes because his dad, wasn't done. He died before he finished writing the books.
Yeah.
So he used some of his notes, and that's how he did the 7th one. But then after that, he started making all these other books like.
This is mine now.
Yeah, the Harkonnens and like House Atreides and like Dune and like all this stuff that like prequels and interquels and like blah, and it's like
It's just like a hybrid of nepotism and being a hack.
Yeah, basically.
Sounds great. Well, I mean, I didn't mind the fact necessarily that Peanuts went in the direction of computer animation because that's just the way things are. But in that trailer, when they started like throwing in like modern music and stuff like that,
I hate that so fucking
turned me
much.
off.
That shit pisses me off. This is not Minions.
Yeah.
Fucking, it's the Peanuts.
Yeah.
One comment I want to say about it is if you go back to anything that's like slice of life, really normal situations for the characters, and they try to expand on it and make it bigger than it needs to be.
90 minutes of
like
tripping
look
on football.
I don't know if you guys were a big fan of Hey Arnold, the animated.
Yeah.
And
Love
they
Arnold.
did a movie for Hey Arnold where it was like all this crazy shit happening. There was like agents, and then there's a big scam and plot. There's this huge plot, and the thing that makes Hey Arnold great is that it's just a bunch of kids in New York like playing on their street.
Right.
They're from PS 118. This is what they.
With somewhat like dark
shit.
backgrounds, also, right?
And that was what made it good. That was enough depth. We don't need to add all this crazy shit on top. Like they wanted to make a movie after that where you go and find Arnold's parents that like went off into a jungle. And then the whole movie would take place in a jungle. And it's like the reason it's good is because it's just a bunch of kids in New York. Why are you going to take them out of New York? I don't understand it. But with this, it looks like, and things that I keep reading about it, because I have read into it a little bit, I'm probably going to wind up seeing it.
Yeah. It's a red boxer, right?
Yeah. They just keep saying it stays true but expands the universe. It stays true but makes it bigger. You don't need it to be bigger.
Yeah.
Like, why do you gotta do that? I don't understand it, but yeah.
Yeah, fuck them.
It's getting a lot higher ratings now that it is open to the public after it premiered. If you looked at it before, like the Rotten Tomatoes score was like 60 or something.
Yeah, all the critics were like,
the critics were like, no.
Because
but the general audiences, they seem to like it. It's up to 86 now. How much money you pay to Rotten Tomatoes, that's for you to decide. But it is going up because people are watching it and they are enjoying it.
Do you think that some of that is a factor of like parents having to watch and put so much time into child entertainment that they're just like, well, this isn't as bad as the other shit I ever watched?
Yeah.
Like you go, I'm going to take my kids to the Peanuts movie, and you're like, that actually wasn't that bad. I'm going to go on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm going to give it an 8 on IMDb. Yeah. Well, coming in at third, that was second. Coming in at third, distant third, is The Martian. 9.3 million.
But, I mean, that's been out for how many weeks?
It's had a few weeks.
It's up to just about 198 million overall. I think that's domestic.
What was the initial?
Ridley Scott, making some money again.
I love Ridley Scott, man.
Oh, really?
I do. I don't know if I like this new version of Ridley Scott though. We've talked about Prometheus and just the ridiculous things that happen in there that are unforgivable.
I still like Prometheus.
I still like Prometheus,
man.
There's a couple times that this happened.
But I don't know. I do feel like I am one of the only people that liked Prometheus.
Oh, I loved it, man.
That's them running away from a rolling spaceship and running straight ahead is unforgivable.
You're right.
It's there.
Outside, but and that's the thing. Like, I don't know. I would just be like, that's a shitty movie or whatever. Mm-hmm. But you're right. The majority of that movie it's beautiful. Mm-hmm. It's really good. The acting is good. There's so many good things to like about it.
Some great sequences in it, like with the surgery scene.
Yeah. Well, people even bitch about that. Like, she wouldn't be able to walk around. It's like, it's a movie.
Yeah.
I get that.
And you're also dealing with, medical technology
that's like way
so advanced. Maybe
right.
pump or pull something we don't know
and
about.
she was like, she keeps fucking injecting herself with shit the whole time because she just went through this crazy
and
surgery.
what's in that stuff?
Yeah. And you've got the guy that's like vaping.
Yeah.
But that's the box office. We'll see what happens next week. I don't think Spectre's going to... Well, I don't know what's coming out next week. Do a little research there, Brian, probably. But Spectre might be there up again. We'll see, though, from week to week. Going on in movie news, saw something pretty interesting. apparently there's so much leftover audio from Robin Williams' performance as the genie in Aladdin that Disney had contemplated for a while making an entirely new movie just with his old audio.
Which is insane.
And we're just waiting for him to die to bank on it. Well, Robin Williams not having that shit. Yeah.
Nano.
In his will, he specified that he did not want to have anything to do with fresh, quote unquote, fresh exploitation.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, as if I didn't have enough respect for the man to begin with, but to be able to sort of call out beforehand that Disney is going to try. Or it's not just Disney, anybody that had that would try to do that. Good, because this would be Aladdin 4, and the other one's with Dan Castellaneta. It's just so much shit. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think about this? It's like morbid in a way.
It's gross, man. I think it's gross, especially like I don't like. So is it like? Is it like extra lines that were recorded for the purpose of making another movie, or was it just like here's a bunch of wild lines we have?
There was so much during them recording for that of him just flying off and doing whatever the fuck he wanted to do.
Yeah,
like that they had already said that it had so many hours. I think it got denied for a certain award because so much of it was just improv by Robin Williams.
Oh, it didn't get like really like a writing award.
Yeah, it's something because it wasn't
scripted.
Yeah, because it wasn't really scripted because he was just fucking going off, and he was so prolific and good at that. You know, just coming off doing anything.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people would make towards the end of it would make fun of him because of that, but the dude could just go on any topic and just fucking rip for a while.
Well, he was like at the pinnacle of his talents. I feel like at that point. I mean, right around the corner was like Mrs. Doubtfire. And The Birdcage, which is one of my all-time favorite Robin Williams. But I could see them having this sort of stuff. But yeah, it's tasteless, I think. If you want to release that on some like double deluxe, just out of the vault Aladdin thing in 25 years,
have a
I'm
short,
there.
Put it in a short before it picks
just have it play. If you want to like animate things behind it, just you know what I mean, like. That's something cool, but
it's gross.
That might even be a decision for his kids and stuff going forward too. You know,
whoever he left his not foundation, but basically
his estate
power over that estate.
Estate. It's a good.
It's a good one.
So yeah, moving along in movie news, I thought this was pretty interesting. Key and Peele, and I'm sure we're going to touch on some things going forward that they've been in and what you're watching, but they are all over the place. And good for them. You know, I never really connected with their show that they had on Comedy Central. I saw some part.
They had a couple sketches that I thought were really funny. It was just like stuff that I'd seen or people would show me.
Yeah.
Jeremy, and you know, he'd show me a couple things, and I was like, oh, that's really funny, you know.
But it felt like every time I watched it, I was like, that's not that great. But you got to be in the right mood, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Well, the news here is that those guys are teaming up with the director of Nightmare Before Christmas, Coraline, James and the Giant Peach. And if you've ever had the misfortune of seeing Monkey Bone, I don't want to say,
I like Monkey Bone.
I enjoy Monkey Bone for reasons.
Yeah,
I don't know if I like it as a film.
Right.
There's parts of Monkey Bone that I enjoy.
You have to respect it. Just for Brendan Fraser.
Catan.
Yeah. Well,
Catan.
What's the guy that was on Kids in the Hall? He was also on Spin City. Fuck, I can't remember his name. But he plays his boss in that movie. He's on that episode of Mirren where the guy from Kids in the Hall comes on and like he goes to call out the people who called him out. God, I can't remember his name. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Oh, not the guy from
Dave Foley.
Yes, News Radio.
Oh, yes, Dave Foley. That guy's always a trip, man.
Well, the director's name is Henry Selick, and they're teaming up for a stop motion. Like, I love animation, but stop motion is a special little place for me. Stop motion horror comedy.
It'll be great. I mean,
I certainly hope so. There was like recently like a stop motion animation movie that came out that everybody shit on. It was like horror comedy, like fart and poop.
No, it was
Poop.
the Box Trolls. Right?
No. I saw that. That was all right.
Fart
There's
and poop?
there was one that came out like it's literally called like Fart and Poop. Or something like
Google
that.
fart and
Fart and poop stop motion.
We came up with Urban Dictionary poop fart.
Yeah.
What's a poop fart?
Did the Coraline cat fart and poop? That's a vine.
Googled the exact same thing.
Yeah. I wish them well with it. I hope stop motion animation. I know that they're getting a lot of. Obviously there's computer graphics they're using to assist them. But I just love it. And, I know at some point By the Bulb's going to do some stop motion stuff and put that up there. Just because it's fucking fun, man.
Cool,
Yeah.
man. Brian did a sweet little stop motion thing for his animation class.
And quite the
Shit
move.
had angles.
I did some camera moves.
Yeah. Quite the move.
And I got to tell you, it didn't take that long. So that's why I'm really eager to just jump on it.
Do it.
And maybe the next one will just be absolute shit and I'll never do it again. But, because
did that shit.
Because if I'm not good at it the first time, then what's the fucking point?
You took that shit, Brian.
Oh, yeah. But, that's interesting to me. I really think that has the potential to be really cool. Rounding out movie news, there was a young gentleman, well, I guess, about our age, that was dying and made a dying request to see, a huge Star Wars fan, by the way, made a dying request to J.J. Abrams and production company to see a cut of The Force Awakens before he passed away. Solid on those guys for actually making it happen. The guy got to see it, and today, November 10th, 2015, he passed away.
He was 32 years old. His name was Daniel Fleetwood.
Daniel Fleetwood. Do you know what he had?
I was just looking.
No, but I mean, that's awesome that they did that for him.
Connective tissue cancer.
Well,
Called the spindle cell sarcoma. That does not sound good.
that sounds complicated, and the fact that none of us know what the hell that is, it probably makes
It's
it
pretty bad.
pretty difficult to find a solution to that problem. But I think that speaks to the power. I mean, good on them and good on this guy, but that speaks to the power of like social media, pulling at the heartstrings. You get a hashtag going, something like that. Like that's today. That's today's world, you know, and fucking made it happen for this kid. I would love to have known whether or not he liked it.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's all
But
I
I'm
know.
always gonna wonder. It's like he's just like.
Was he just like?
I think
that was
the worst
great,
thing.
guys?
And I think the worst thing would be if it was just like meh.
Yeah. Right.
You know, if it wasn't like, oh, that was shit or that was great, just like, oh man, I guess that was it.
Yeah.
But it was a rough cut, so
Yeah.
they make sure to mention that in the articles.
I don't. Yeah.
It was a
Okay.
rough
When you're
cut.
like a month and a half out,
Yeah.
like all right, it's the fucking movie.
We don't
okay?
got everything tightened up here.
Fuck out of here.
But they showed up at his house. They had stormtroopers. I think Abrams was in attendance, and
Daniel Boyega, what's his name?
Boyega.
Yeah, he was there too.
Boyega also made an appearance.
That's pretty solid on them. I gotta tell you, like, not to get morbid, but if I was Croak in here or whatever, and they were releasing some Ash versus the Evil Dead, and I wasn't gonna be able to see it, but like, let me see Ash before I go. Let me see it. Well, and that actually is a little bit of a teaser as to what's coming up here in our special section of
What you watching? What'd you watch?
What I watched.
Tell it to us. What?
we had a vote, and we decided that Jeremy was going to lead off this week's
Oh yes.
What You Watching.
I'm gonna lead it off because I watched.
He's the
a
big
sad
wiener.
Movie. Okay, so I watched a movie called A Time for Drunken Horses. It came out in 2000. It's a French film, but it takes place on the Iranian and Iraqi border, and it's about a family of Iranian Kurds. It's an ethnic group, and just the fucking shitty life that they fucking have. And they make their money by smuggling goods from Iran to Iraq, and like it's really bad. First of all, the main character is can't be more than 13 years old, 14 years old, and he's basically the caregiver for his family because his parents are dead, and his sister is taken. And his brother, who's 15, he has this weird spine disorder where he's like a cripple, and he's a dwarf, and he has to take all this medication, and if he doesn't get enough money, then his brother's going to die because he can't get him this operation. And it's so sad. And it gets its title for it's really cold in that area of the world. Yeah. And when they have to make trips to smuggle goods, if it's a particularly cold day, they put booze in the horse's water. And like
just soldiers through.
Yeah. And so the last part of the movie, they're like, oh, it's really cold, so put 4 bottles of booze in the horse's water today. But I sort of took it as like a metaphor for the whole movie. Like, you get your horses drunk when it's hard to be outside, when it's hard to do stuff, when it's hard to live. And that's this whole movie. It was just hard. And then at the end, it's like, it's not a sad ending, but it's not very hopeful either.
With a lot of these foreign movies, they're not, they're not like Americans. They're not just going to wrap it up in a fucking bow for you.
Yeah, no, you got to put the pieces together and come up with your own. And
you got to respect that. Well, I mean, even looking at like the runtime, 80 minutes.
Yeah, and a lot happens in this movie.
Yeah,
there's a lot, and it's also one of those movies where, I mean, I think the year that it went to Cannes, it won some award for the camera work because there's this one scene where they get to the village and their dad has died, but nobody says your dad's dead. They get to the village and they start crying, and you really don't know why they're crying, and then like slowly, like it's really shaky camera, but like slowly at the end they reveal that one of the mules is carrying a body, and then that's enough to let you know like their dad just died, and it's just really cool stuff like that where like they don't give it all out to you. They show it to you.
Like as far as the foreign stuff goes, I mean, I've taken my last theory class at CSUN, thank God. But the thing you got to respect about those guys is that they don't like put everything on a platter for you, and they don't have to like hold your hand through everything. Like, when I say those guys, like anything outside the United States, like there's a lot of just implied things that happen. Yeah. It's like they respect their audience enough to be like, you can fucking figure this out.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And because they're not trying, these movies they're not trying to necessarily win an Oscar. They're not like they don't want they're not trying to make a bunch of money. They're just like something that they felt passionate enough to show you, basically. Yeah. And so, it could go either way. There's a lot of bad movies like that, but I really liked this movie. I have a streaming service called Fandor. It's not that much money. It is extra, in addition to Netflix and stuff. But that's where I watch this. It's really I've talked about Fandor before on a couple podcasts. But if you're a fan of movies and if you like weird movies that just from all over the place, then I would recommend that you subscribe to Fandor because it's awesome. I literally was like, I need to think of a movie to watch today. I just went to Fandor and was like, this seems cool, and I just did it. Yeah. I didn't hear anything about this movie before I watched it today. I just decided to watch it. And,
how much is that a month?
I think it's about the same as Netflix. Like,
I don't even know. It keeps changing. It's like $12, I guess. Yeah. It's when it started out, it was $7.99.
I think it's something like that, $7.99. They also don't have that annoying thing that Netflix has, where if you want multiple people to be watching it, you have to pay extra money for extra screens.
I think that you get a certain amount.
You get 2 screens.
Is
and
it?
if you want 4 screens, then you have to pay like an extra amount a month.
Really? Yeah. I think I've had my account for so long that I've been like grandfathered into certain things. Like I don't pay for DVDs, and I still have unlimited screens. Mm-hmm. I guess if you just if you have it for long enough, then that's the case. But if you get a new account, you're like, you're screwed. Fuck you.
Yeah, not that I don't have the DVD thing, but I don't think I'm limited on my screens for sure.
I got way too many family members leeching off my account. I know for a fact.
Jeremy, are you watching anything else besides The Drunken Horse?
So on a lighter note, for the first time this week, I watched the movie Legally Blonde. And let me tell you, I got some things to say. Okay, so honestly, you guys, I liked it. I mean, probably most of you like listening are like, yeah, dude, Legally Blonde, 2000, it's been out for a while. But like, yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about...
you weren't like rushing
no,
to
I
see
wasn't
that.
rushing to see it. But I watched, and you know, I liked it. I thought it was funny, and you know, I thought it was a little, you know, dumb in parts, but it's Legally Blonde, man. I mean, the thing that I thought that was most interesting, there's something really about those American movies that are just like, this is the movie, it's 90 minutes long, every scene has something to do with the story, it's wrapped up at the end, done. You were entertained, it didn't drag on.
It's an art.
Well
as much as that's
movie.
shit on, it's not
very,
easy to do.
And like, there's a lot of movies like that are just like, you know, they're not a great movie. They didn't advance cinema in any way, really. But like, just what it's, you know, it's entertaining.
So can I ask though, going from A Time for Drunken Horses to Legally Blonde, what was the what brought on that thing? Was just like, well, I did that, so let's do this now.
Well, okay, so it was my girlfriend's birthday this weekend, so we watched A Time for Drunken Horses. No, it was so like she was like, "Oh, Legally Blonde," and I was like, "I've never seen it." She's like, "Yeah," and
little heel click.
Yeah. And we watched, and I was, and no, the Time for Drunken Horses was I watched that so I could tell you wonderful people about it. That was
Thank God you did.
Purpose. Yeah. God you did.
Like it's hard.
So yeah, that's what I've
But
been watching.
legal, I got Linda Cardellini.
Oh yeah, she was.
Yeah.
No, wait.
Am I wrong?
Selma Blair. I actually Selma Blair.
Linda Cardellini, though.
Selma Blair.
Selma Blair! Linda Cardellini! Selma Blair!
It was opposing camps. I'd be in Cardellini's. Ever since Freaks and Geeks. Whoa. Yeah, that's
Yeah, no, I mean.
Oh, dude, when she was Velma and
Oh yes. Oh yes, she was.
She was also on ER, not as hot.
not in the scrubs. All right, well, I guess I'll pick up what I've been watching, which will probably, I think that Tony and I are kind of on the same wavelength here. I will say, first and foremost, I've had the good fortune, when I moved, Time Warner was like, all right, well, you're going to need a new box, aren't you?
Box.
Well, we've given you a bunch of trouble, and it was a pain in the ass. But I guess it's promotion. I shouldn't feel that special. But Starz is free for the entirety of Ash versus the Evil Dead. So, the first episode is online for free. Yeah. I haven't watched the second one yet, but I will as soon as you jerks leave. But the first episode, guys, it's just so awesome. It's so awesome. It's really funny. The white eyes are back in the Deadites, which I think makes a huge difference. There's a really good thing about that Raimi does, and Raimi directed the first episode called El Jefe. He does a really good job of he makes his demons laugh in this creepy way.
So good.
Very bloody. Just very attractive Xena warrior princess.
Yeah. Lucy
Lawless. Looking good, you got the Bruce Campbell ham. You've got some pretty decent schlock horror backup actors. There's Three Stooges humor all over the place. Like I said, the first episode on Facebook, Ash vs. the Evil Dead, put it up for free. I have a buddy who's a sourpuss and refuses to watch it because it's on Starz. Doesn't want to watch the first episode because he's not going to be able to see all the rest of it. And I just told him, I says, fuck you. Just watch the first episode,
dude,
man. You haven't got Evil Dead in...
Dude, if you want... if you really want to watch it, you'll find a fucking way to watch it.
No, I agree.
You'll wait for it to come on DVD or you'll... whatever. You'll watch it.
Yeah. And, God help you if you don't.
God help you. We will find you.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely check that out. I keep it brief just because I have such a huge heart on for that franchise, and it's just look at it. Just look at it with your face. Other things, we had talked about this feature before. God, man, we were so young. It was probably like episode 4. We're only 4 episodes old when we talked about Inside Out, maybe, which both of you guys have seen, right?
Yeah.
It was a red box officially because that's how I saw it.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable.
Yeah.
The creativity and thoughts behind that made me really think for a long time afterwards. It had me in a position where like every decision I was making, I was thinking about whether there's a blue little ball in my head or a red one.
It's the green guy.
Just the way that they delve into the psyche of a developing mind at that age of this young girl. The voice acting is great. Phyllis from The Office. Is Sadness. She's unbelievable. The animation.
Yeah.
My
I
God.
I thought it was really neat how like in the beginning when she's born there's just the one button, but like as she grows up the board gets bigger and bigger and more complicated and
so many different Pixar, I don't know, I liked it. I liked it more than Up.
Yeah.
The thing is, I was never really a big fan of Up, though.
No?
Yeah,
I liked Up.
people say
I like
that
Up.
I'm cold.
People say that I'm cold because I didn't like The Incredibles that much.
Ooh,
I didn't like
disagree with you there.
What?
Jam.
Okay,
We're on
okay.
opposites
I've heard people say that, but I've yet to get a really good reason
and
as
I
to
don't
why.
think you'd get a great one for me because I haven't seen it since it was in theaters.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
So,
okay. Well, give yourself another chance
yeah,
because
I have to
you've
watch it
gotten
again.
older. There's things in Incredibles that they say, like much like in Inside Out, which is why I like Inside Out a lot, is because they don't sugarcoat anything. It's Pixar giving it to these kids like it is. Like the whole line in The Incredibles about like celebrating mediocrity or like everybody's special. That's just another way of saying nobody is.
Everyone's special.
I'm not gonna lie. I definitely did a couple teardrops during Inside Out.
Yeah.
Really got to. Yeah. Can't recommend that enough. And outside of that, I have been watching some other things. Probably a little bit too much. You'd be amazed, even when you're moving and dealing with all this shit. Like you just want your downtime with your significant other or whatever, and all you do is just watch it. Yeah. It's like let's just fucking watch this. So I have watched The Flash. Or some episodes of The Flash that are on Netflix, which is not very good, guys. But I don't know. They got characters I've never seen before on screen, which keeps me interested.
What you gonna do with him?
Right, exactly. But that's what I've been watching in a nutshell. I've also been watching some shit that Tony's been watching. Yeah. And I cannot wait to hear about it.
Well, real quick, before we get into mine, I do want to bring up one thing now that we've all seen Inside Out. Because the first time we talked about it, it was my What You Watching.
Yeah.
And I brought up something that I'd like to bring up again for people who listened to that episode. Tidbits! So when I saw it, again, I really liked it. There was a bunch of stuff about it that I was super psyched on. We talked about like when they went to the brain and then they played that like
The
gum,
jingle.
gum jingle.
A go-to joke throughout.
That was so great. But one thing I felt like that this was going to be another Toy Story franchise. It seemed like something that's kind of along the same lines, and they have these characters and this story that can like mature with the kid.
Yeah.
Because in Toy Story, we were all much younger when that first one came out, and then by the time the third one came out, like we were all adults.
Yeah.
And
We were basically Andy.
Yeah, we were basically Andy, and it was awesome. And I was just so connected to that third movie. I'm just wondering, Inside Out is their next attempt at sort of like having a kid grow up with a generation. Would you guys like to see that? Is that something you also felt after watching it? What do you think?
I would like to see it. I don't think that's what Disney's going to do.
Yeah, that's probably what they do with everything. But I mean, I do think that.
Do you think it's warranted?
Oh man, I thought honestly, like I loved the little kid in the movie, but I thought the most interesting parts was when they went in the adults' heads.
Yeah.
Right.
We had in our conversations earlier talking about how anger is running the dad's head and sadness is running the mom's.
Yeah.
I would love to see some stuff like that, but if it's not kid centric, then I don't think Disney's going to pull the trigger on it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see her go through puberty and go to college and.
Well, I mean, they did it with They pulled it off.
Well, I mean, yeah. But Andy was also much younger than
In the
girl
first movie,
Yeah.
But it's something I think that there's potential for. I would also like to see, since Joy probably runs every kid's head, right?
Yeah.
And at what point does someone else get promoted? You know?
Right. At what point
Right.
does Joy take a back seat to
Yeah.
like anger
Or and you get those people that are legitimately like can't experience that.
Yeah.
So when does Joy die? Like I kept getting like
Yeah.
Yeah.
when I was thinking about it afterwards, it just got nothing but dark for me.
Right.
This
Yeah.
could get so dark.
And the thing is, and I remember mentioning it last time, like the original story was super, super dark, and they actually had to like turn the dark down because in the original story, the kid falls into a coma,
Right.
and then the emotions have to work through her broken mind
Yeah.
to try and reassemble her and put her back together. And that if they could work something like that into a sequel, and then also have the last one be when she's grown up, and then just end it all with a bow, like I hope for something like that.
Well,
I just feel like there was so much more to be explored with that didn't get touched.
Maybe they could have. I mean, like you were saying, when does somebody get promoted? What if like in one of the movies, like fears the king or something, like all of a sudden, and then Joy has to try and figure out how to deal with it, or like
yeah. I just thought that well, first of all, like on the IMDb, like I've never stumbled upon like a trivia page that was quite as extensive as it was for Inside Out. Like it's really long, and they talk about what Tony, what you were talking about with the knocking her out and stuff like that. But I just like Bill Hader, I guess, like was one of the people that took issue with that because he's Fear.
Fear, yeah.
And he was like, no, I didn't really dig that at the time. Like, I was hoping they would change it, and they did, and, you know, yay. But that's the thing, that, like, the stuff that, like, got me worked up was, like, thinking about how you have these happy memories, like, especially when you're a child, and when you become older, you look back at them, and you have this feeling of, like, nostalgia and, like, sadness, because, you know, that person might not be around anymore, or whatever. And just how, like, all, like, for me, I don't know if you guys can relate, but, like, a lot of those, I'd say 80 to 90% of those, like, childhood memories that I do have that are really clear, they're a little blue.
Yeah, right.
They're all a little blue.
And, you know, the point is that, we're going to get super, into that, but it's like a level of maturity, right? It's like, just because it's sad is not a bad thing. It's an emotion that should be.
Yeah, which is why I also didn't think that, like, the sadness ruling the mom's head wasn't necessarily a bad thing, because I thought that was her, like, taking her sadness and learning how to just deal with it and like, actually, like...
I think, with the sadness there comes, like, appreciation.
Yeah.
And her mom was, like, very level-headed. Like, the dad was the one that was... He was a dick. But he had a lot of shit on his plate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No.
But good movie. Glad that we could bring that up and just expand on it a little bit. But so we're going into my segment.
What do you watch it?
So it's been mostly TV shows for me. One of them in particular.
It was a show.
It's chowder. Sorry.
Was Fargo, and Brian's talked about this show quite a bit.
So happy.
I'm super psyched that I actually finally sat down and watched it. Like the first episode, I was kind of in and out, but then by the time the second episode happened, and then after like everything from the first episode sunk in, I was just hooked.
Yeah.
And I just went through the entire first season. It's all on Hulu, and had a really good time with it. They had a lot of really cool references. I actually watched Fargo again via your recommendation. Before watching the show, and I'm happy I did. Just like when you see that red shovel.
The red like little scraper there, but like the just
scraper.
Lines that they borrow. Like the unguent.
Yeah.
Like
I need unguent. You need some unguent? Huh.
Some pancakes.
But it was really good. It had a great cast. It was super dark. There was still a lot of comedy in it, but I felt like Fargo the movie. I don't know. Maybe you'll disagree with this, but I feel like Fargo the movie was a little lighter than the show is. Like the show just goes really dark, and I think it's because of the centric character of
Billy Bob Thornton's or
not
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman's character.
Martin Freeman's character, like just the way he starts out. and then develops over the season.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, I'm tired of like this happening again. Like really, you know.
Yeah.
But then once he starts to develop
with
and everything goes on.
his wife that he ends up
Oh
marrying.
yeah, and then just the way they throw you off.
Oh,
in
yeah.
in that first season, you know, when they're eating that soup, you see, and it just takes a really dark turn right away. Off like not just a joke that could have been thrown away.
Right.
If she didn't like come back to it and touch on it again when she says like I married the wrong night guard there.
Yeah.
And that could have been funny, but the way they came back to it just like twisted really quickly into like a dark place, and you're like, oh, that's what's going on here.
Yeah. Yeah. But like even like the sexual stuff, like I don't mean to spoil it,
big fella.
but there's he ends up Martin Freeman's character ends up having sex with this woman who's the wife of a dead guy, and she's just trying to like basically mine him for whatever money or whatever because he works for this insurance company or something like that, right? And she's got a line where she's just like, "I just was picking your pubes out of my teeth," like, and he in front of her fucking inbred kids.
Yeah. You know, one thing I do want to call attention to, in reference to those kids, is this: where did this trope come from? Where you got a big brother and you got a little brother, and everything the big brother says, little brother's got to repeat. You know, because you see, I've seen it so many times. You've seen this. I think the first thing that comes to mind is Sandlot. Yeah, Sandlot.
Yeah.
That happens, and it's just like, where did that start? You know, why did that? It's just a strange thing. It's funny. And their like brotherly dynamic right after Billy Bob Thornton calls up one of the kids.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, he liked your brother better. And then he's just like, let's go outside. And he just beats the shit out of him with a hockey stick. Oh my
You
god.
see it happening in the
And
background.
the mom's just laughing.
I will say Billy Bob Thornton's character, like one of the best TV villains.
Oh yeah.
Like,
It's
because he's not physically imposing and his hair is ridiculous.
ridiculous. Those plugs have never looked more silly than they do in the first part of that season. Like it's crazy, but it's just the lines, the way he delivers them.
Yeah,
you just gotta respect it because there's so many parts where if he wasn't as intense and good at it as he is at delivering it, it wouldn't play.
No,
you know when he's like, "Are you telling me that this man insulted you, said he had relations with your wife, and then beat you in front of his children?"
Yeah. And you see it, and to that point, like Martin Freeman, like the look on his face is just like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, but you know, I kind of embarrassed him.
It's
so many...
Bilbo Baggins living in Minnesota.
I threw this little guy in an oil drum and rolled him down the street once. In an oil drum? But yeah, I really love this first season. We definitely spoiled enough stuff from the first couple episodes, but there's a lot that we didn't go over.
Oh,
was it Oliver Platt? I think that's his
Oliver
name.
Platt.
Yeah, whenever he shows up, he does a pretty good job, and I really enjoyed what they did with him and Billy Bob Thornton. You know?
With the
plagues.
Yeah, all right, yeah. There's some really, listeners, if you haven't seen it, it's meaty, right?
Yeah,
like there's a
really,
lot,
there's just so much going on with it.
You don't have to be a fan of the movie or have even seen it, but if you did, God, you're getting so much fan service there.
It takes it a level beyond how much you'd appreciate it just as a show, and just as a show, it's great. It's really fucking good.
And
executive producers, both the Coen brothers, on board with it.
But like, and great though. Like, I feel like, and I have a
just
problem.
That score, man. That score's been in my head.
Yeah.
Ever since I watched it, like that opening, it's so fucking good. The music in that.
Yeah. What else have you been watching?
And the other thing I want to watch. Brian's also seen at least the first episode of this. And I didn't even realize that this was happening. Aziz Ansari has a show that just recently got released on Netflix. November 6th was the premiere, and it's called Master of None. Mm-hmm. Now, if you've seen, I'm a fan of Aziz Ansari.
Yeah.
But I loved him Parks and Rec. I like his stand up. But one thing I've always felt with him is that he is funny and he's entertaining, but he needs like a cast to fall back on.
Yeah, his stand-ups are sort of weak, if you ask me.
He's got some good sketches.
Yeah, there's some good
he's
stand-ups.
trying to figure it out.
But I mean, stands up.
Yeah, he does stand up. But in this show, I gotta say, he sold me on being a leading man. You know, definitely there's a lot of great writing in the show. There's a great cast. Eric Warheim's in it, one of his best friends. There's a bunch of great cameos in it. I don't want to ruin it because some of them, I think it's better just to be surprised. If you're not one of those people that IMDb shit before you watch it.
It's a problem.
But yeah, just check it out. The way the format of the show works is they go through a topic and then the episode explores it. Like, this isn't something that's been... They're not breaking ground or anything, but I think that their perspective on certain things is important enough to where that should be watched, and it's entertaining enough to where I'm glad I fucking watched it. Like, there's a lot of the dialogue's super great. The way he thinks about things, sort of being in our millennial generation, and the way he takes not being a certain type of masculine dude, and the way he operates, kind of like a hipster, but it's still in a way that's entertaining and it never bugs you. And Aziz Ansari can be a guy that might just bug the shit out of you. But he does a good job in the show, and I really liked it.
Well, Tom Haverford is an annoying character at times. But you're right. Like, there's something, and you watched the whole series.
Yeah, I binged through the whole freaking thing.
I could see why. Like, I watched the first episode, and he wrote it with another
Alan
gentleman.
Yang.
Yeah. It's really well written, and it's really funny. And true, to people that are sort of in that age range, late 20s, early 30s, you're seeing your friends get married, or you see them get married and then you don't see them no more. And sort of both sides of that. It's not just, like it's coming at any topic. At least in that first episode, it didn't come at it too aggressive either way. No. Showed both sides. And that's fine. Like, there are shows that have good writing and all that, but the thing that really sort of made this for me, right from the opening intros with the credits and the way that they had the title card, with the name of the show and everything.
Master None presents.
Right. What is the name? Because it's what's the pill called?
I want to know. Plan B.
Plan B. That's it.
Master of None presents Plan B.
Yeah.
That was the first episode.
Cinematography, the edits in there.
I've got to touch on that.
Skilled people.
Really good. I want to know. I got to look into the crew that is behind this, because there's some moves, there's some camera moves, and there's some edits in this that are they're great. It's presenting sort of again, we're saying it's not anything groundbreaking, but it's an interesting perspective, and it's a really well shot way of doing it. Like, every single part of this is very, very professional, very I guess how would you call it?
Polished.
Yeah, there you go. Polished, great word for it.
These are, okay, like, for example, because Parks and Rec, essentially, it wouldn't happen without Office. So, and me and my girl, when we go to bed, we've been watching some old Office episodes, and it's just, the little push in on the face, or the gym, or whatever, like, it becomes very predictable. And you can do that, and you can live off that. Yeah. Parks and Rec did that. Yeah. Better than The Office did eventually. But there is, a whole other aspect.
Cinematic, I want to say.
Yeah. It just sets it apart.
It's really good in that way.
Even, in Netflix originals like Kimmy Schmidt and stuff like that,
that's definitely more sitcom style.
Yeah,
for sure.
And this takes the sitcom dynamic, but sort of tries to take it to a different place, and with an interesting perspective. Like you were saying, it doesn't go anywhere typical,
right?
Sort of like The Office does. It takes certain things that you're used to seeing, but then it changes it. Not in a way that's we're doing it just to change this, but it's a little more realistic.
It's purpose.
Yeah, it has purpose to it. Exactly. They have a great. The second episode is really good, and then the format almost completely changes from the first. It's the second episode's called Master of None Presents Parents, and then it's all about his father, who was an Indian immigrant, being his age and growing up, and then his Asian friend's father, who's also a Taiwanese immigrant, and just how their childhoods have changed, and then how coming to America and providing everything for their children has turned them into man babies. Just spoiled children who just have not enough respect for these guys that did everything to give them what they have.
But and still more respect than most people have for their parents in this country.
Exactly. And it's funny because Aziz Ansari's parents are both in this playing his parents.
no shit.
Yeah, both those actors are
Isn't
his
that
actual
like
parents.
the ultimate payoff, though?
Yeah.
Like, if you could be like, "Hey, mom and dad, like, you know how hot I am right now."
Putting you in the show.
Yeah,
Putting you in the show.
that's so cool.
Yeah, it's just I definitely recommend it. Like
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying,
can't wait to
there's
finish
so,
it,
Yeah,
dude.
there's so much going for it. Just check it out. It's on Netflix. Yeah, give it a shot.
Nice. So that was What You Watching, folks. And we have to mention, all right, towards the tail end of this episode,
We do.
it is Tony's birthday. Happy birthday.
Giving it to you, sweet.
November 10th, 27 years ago. Well, actually, it's November 11th now.
No,
But,
it's
burning
birthday's
the
over. Shut it
candle
down.
and quote that.
But, yeah, my birthday.
Happy
27.
birthday, Tony.
No, I gave him a
Love
little. I was like, it's Tony's birthday, and I haven't said happy birthday to him, and he's gonna pick me up. So I gotta give him something. It's his birthday.
I'm not gonna lie to
It's
you.
kinda
I was
like
thinking,
that.
I'm like, what toy that I
won't,
don't
because I
care
can't.
about
That's exactly what I did.
too much.
Thank you.
You give it to-
Caring, loving
No,
friends.
it's. I actually took.
Well, at least it's a thought.
Well,
I
I actually
gave it some thought.
I gave you the Outrider because I knew that you like Dash Rendar.
Yeah.
You've read those books.
Uh-huh.
I was like, Tony would like the Outrider because that's Tony.
If Brian is going up on a shelf,
you read this?
pulling something
The other
down.
thing,
I have
trends.
not.
Have you read this?
No.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, buddy. I
Sorry.
got a couple of comments here.
I just handed to Tony Gomez a copy of Transmetropolitan, or like the first, first book in that series,
Warren Mills, David
and
Robertson?
Saga Volume 1, both graphic novels. Actually, I'm not gonna lie to you, that's kind of a regifter sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy Colton gave me those. I've read them 3 or 4 times.
I had some good comments.
Warren Ellis,
Really good.
is a member of
Thanks,
the Bad
Colton.
Seeds, and he
Don't
helps
disown me
kids
as a
do-
friend. They've
No, I
run.
thank you both. I thank
You
both.
would be happy, yeah. But yeah, happy birthday! Thinking about birthdays, I mean, we're getting to the point where it's like, God,
cares?
it doesn't fucking matter anymore,
Yeah.
right? Do you guys have any like best birthday or worst birthday experiences that you'd like to share with the audience tonight?
I had a best birthday that turned into the worst birthday.
A twist!
So back in the days, there was a place called DZ Discovery Zone.
Oh, I
I'm
was just
going
about to say that.
DZ.
That's where all birthdays were made.
Yeah.
What you can
They
do
had
on your
the
own.
zip line, man. They had the room full of rubber bands. They
I
had
love
the,
it.
like,
Did they have
rolling
them out
slide.
here?
Yeah.
I had no idea. That was
Yeah.
a Midwest thing.
Yeah, no, they had them, and I enjoyed the shit out of them. But one birthday, we got to go there, and there was this like kind of rolly rainbow wheel slide.
Oh
thing.
yeah, that was the fun.
And it was really
that was a
fun,
fun wheel.
really fun. Like everything in that place was fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude.
And there's so many of those places at that time. People started getting sue happy, so all of them shut down. There's a lot of these like kids playhouses. They're just made for all this different crazy shit for kids to do and just be actually physically active and do things with.
Yeah.
But there was this rainbow rolly slide, and my cousin and my sister were both attendants at my birthday party. Went to the bottom of the slide, and then they were just sitting there, and and then they just like wouldn't get off the pad. They're like, "Ha ha, yeah, this is so fun!" And I'm sitting at the top waiting for my turn. I'm like, "It's my fucking birthday. You guys need to move so I can roll down this goddamn slide." It's like, "Hey, move!" And then there's like, not paying attention. All right, well, fuck it, I'm going down the slide. So I just I'm gonna slam on top of both of them as hard as I can because I was a little asshole.
Yeah.
And I did, but when I did, they didn't have protective rubber things at the bottom. It was just like these planks of what's that? The really shitty wood.
Yeah,
It's just like bits
it's like
of other wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, particle board.
Particle board. They had two unprotected
Yes.
pieces of particle board
Yeah.
with the pad that the kids land on. And then I hit them, and then my head slammed back and hit one of these pieces of particle board, split it open, and then I was just like, no, my birthday. And then they had to take me to the hospital, and that was when I first experienced what a staple is. Now, as an active kid, I have had more than once figured out what stitches are like, and I don't like stitches.
No.
Terrible.
Yeah, and this they just shot me with a little thing, and then put the pieces of my crown back together, and then just went, and it was done.
Yeah. Is it?
Wow.
So had to end the party early. Had a great time at DZ Discovery Zone, but discovered that staples are a superior
Form
to stitches.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that.
That's
And they just like pop out after.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
It's like, you ain't good. Anything else?
Staples, Jeremy. What do you got?
Well, let's see. It's gonna get a little adult after hours. This is my 21st birthday. It's
So
not
this
that
is
adult. It's
2009.
It's
or
not
something?
steamy after hours. It's let's drink beers after hours.
Yeah.
But I had my party. A bunch of people came over. You know, everybody on your 21st birthday. I'm not like that big of a drinker. But I fucking puked on my 21st. Everybody pukes. And like I started the night by my friend had this really awful. If it comes in a plastic bottle, don't drink it. If it's booze, it's in a
dude,
plastic
like
bottle.
Skull vodka.
Yeah, no.
You don't know.
This shit was like it was like
You don't know.
Grandpappy's fucking whiskey.
Pappy's cough medicine.
And so I started out the night with that, and then I was doing some shots of Sailor Jerry and Jaeger and drinking beers. And at one point in the night, my friend came up to me with a quad shot, which is a shot glass that holds 4 shots. It's this tall. And it was full of Sailor Jerry. And he was like, dude, you guys... I was like, I'm already drunk, man. I can't do it. And he's like, no, but you just drink like a little bit. And I was like, fine, I'll drink like half of it. And I drank the whole thing. And then, also, my friend Kathy made me a tie-dye birthday cake, which was very cool. That is important to the story. So I didn't puke that night. I was fine. I went to bed. I was like, best 21st birthday ever.
Yeah.
Going to bed. And then I woke up the next morning to take a shit. And I'm sitting on the toilet. And I'm like, something's wrong with this. I think I might have to puke. And while in the middle of shitting, I have to fucking puke, and there's nothing for me to puke on, so I just puke everywhere, like while I'm shitting and puking, because like I can't. I'm mid shit. I can't get up, so like I just puked all over the floor, and it was crazy colored because of the tie-dye birthday cake. That's why that was in a cool product. But I just left it. I got up, and I was like, shit, I did that. And then I like got back in bed. And my friend Brandon, who spent the night, walks into the bathroom to take a piss, and he's standing there barefoot, and he's like, what the fuck is it? And he looks on the ground, and he sees that he's standing in my puke, and then he pukes. He stood in my puke, and then he puked. And that was a pretty good birthday.
Wow. I don't even...
What you got, Bri?
What you got?
Well, it's sort of tough. I mentioned before, like, only child of divorced parents, with both sides being really, really cool, and just wanting the little guy to be happy. I did get spoiled a lot, and sort of what backfires with that is that I know that there's a lot of awesome birthday memories that are sort of lost in the shuffle. But the one that sticks out the most to me is I turned 10 years old. My Uncle Don, who essentially is my big brother, just took me out to an arcade, man. Like, we went out, and I think we bought a couple crappy CDs, whatever I thought I liked at the time. And he was like, yeah, right, whatever. But we went out to, I don't know, it was like, it's something to do with a planet, like Planet Arcades or Saturn Arcades or something. Yeah. And that was something I used to do with my uncle a bunch back in the day, before arcades like really became horrible. Yeah. But no, man, I just, it's one of those things, it's, it's almost like a blue memory, almost like, cause it's just, the thing, like when I was 10, my aunt and my uncle, my Uncle Don's sister, Jill, they both had kids. So it was like I wasn't the fucking little kid anymore, you know what I mean? Yeah. And this was like literally days before that happened. Because my cousins, I'm born on May 6th, they were born on the 17th and 18th. Yeah. So it was just like the last hurrah, And I don't know, man. I just sort of treasure that memory. Like, I usually played the shitty games, and my uncle would give me shit because he was like, you want to get tickets? God. Right. Like, let's...
Put the spooky ball.
Yeah. The games that I like aren't here anymore. Fuck! But no, he was a good sport and a really good role model, and that's definitely what I hang on to there. So yeah, birthday memories.
Birthdays are
And I'd
cool.
like to, we're getting towards the holidays here.
Get some sentiment.
Yeah, if you guys, if you want to send some emails to, bythebulb@gmail.com, Thanksgiving memories. Our next episode is going to be Thanksgiving. I'm going to say some Thanksgiving things there.
Yeah, we're going to be thankful.
We should be. As much as we bitch, we got plenty to be thankful
A
for.
lot of good stuff.
And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, holidays, stuff like that. Like, I just can't fucking wait. These are going to be some good episodes coming up here. But yeah, Facebook, obviously like us on there. Share with your friends. We got a shout out from another podcast, the Gory Details Horror Show.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Really, really cool. I listened. I cherry picked an episode actually because I think that especially with podcasts, there's so many of them these days. You can really tell a lot about a podcast by listening to their earlier episodes.
Yeah.
These guys are just about to release their 10th if they haven't already. But I listened to episode number 2, which focused on the Thing, the John Carpenter's The Thing, and body horror. And I'll be damned if those guys aren't really knowledgeable. And I like the cut of their Midwestern jib. They've a couple of guys.
Got a nice Midwestern.
Well, one of them's from Chicago. I think the guy Casey is well traveled. I don't know if his roots are in Chicago, but the other guy, and I apologize, I can't think of his name, but he's got that hard A.
The cat.
And it's
that's
just
Boston.
more just like, it's just like. Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, well. But he's got this really smooth, like, sort of.
Buttery.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about some horror.
Yeah. But they've got some knowledge. So definitely check those guys out. And check out our website, if you want. We need to update that, but honestly, we're in the middle of a lot of stuff right now, so it's sort of going by the wayside. But we are gonna fucking come at you. You got no idea, man. It is gonna happen. So yeah, definitely email us bythebulb@gmail.com.
We need more of you, lovely people, to just talk. I mean, you heard that was nice. That could be you. We could be talking about the thing you said in the beginning, and then your friends, you could tell them.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like that?
Wouldn't you like that?
You want us to talk about something? You would like that. That's the answer to that question. Yeah, but thanks again to Brittany. Anybody else that feels like dropping us a line? I mean, the last one's Insides and Ivan. Write us some more stuff. We might have busted the balls of your email a little bit, but that doesn't mean we don't love you.
So much.
Super appreciative.
But God, guys, we're come close to 2 hours here.
Yeah.
Oh,
we gotta say it.
Oh, Jesus. All right, guys. This is Brian.
This is Jeremy.
Tony, lights up.
Come on, Franklin. It's going to be a fun trip. If I have any more fun today, I don't think I'm going to be able to take it.